Good afternoon, YouTube. Sorry, I probably should have had that done before I decided to start the video. However, a lot has changed since I last made a video. For example, right now I'm smoking a filter pipe. Valen Clean Edition. Clean is the store I bought it from in Berlin. Got some good news and some bad news. I guess I'll give you the bad news first. I broke my first pipe. Kind of saddens me quite a bit. I shouldn't really say it's my first pipe. It's not. This is my first pipe. But that was just an El Cheapo. I was just trying out the hobby, seeing how I liked it. I didn't want to make a big investment, so I kind of consider this my first, real pipe. My first investment, my first real investment in pipe smoking. I ordered it along with some Cornell and Deal's Autumn Evening, I think is what it's called. And so that was the first tobacco I smoked in that pipe. But yeah, I was just walking. I've just gotten back a few months ago from Berlin. I went to Berlin to become a brewmaster. I studied at a brewing school there, an international brewing school there. And one of my instructors is an avid pipe smoker, to my surprise, and that was awesome getting to share it with him and another fellow student who sort of took up pipe smoking again. And so that was one thing that we shared and bonded over was pipes. I have no idea what I'm smoking right now because I jarred all of my tobacco before I left instead of leaving it in the tins. I didn't want to bring a lot of stuff with me, so I only brought very limited pipe smoking supplies. Didn't bring any tobacco and decided just to buy it when I got there. So, because I knew pipe tobacco is a lot more common in Europe, so you could pretty much buy even McBaron quality, W.O. Larson, stuff like that. You could buy just about in any tobacco store, any little tobacco outlet in Berlin. So there was one that was not far from the school where I was that sold quite a few pretty good blends, and I bought a vanilla flake from McBaron and became quite fond of it. So that's become sort of my favorite, very close to my favorite tobacco. So, when I was there, I was just walking down the stairs from class, and it broke. It was kind of sad. All my friends were sad for me. So I bought a new pipe to replace it, and it's very similar. It's a Bjarne Viking Classic, rusticated, but it's not quite as dark, which could be the darkness of that pipe could be as a result of smoking it for a long time. It may have just darkened over time. However, it is a little bit bigger. The stem is a little bit thicker, but it does have what was most important to me was this very wide and flat stem bit, which is very important, which is what this has as well. And what makes that pipe so comfortable to hold. Not just that it's bent and will just rest on your chin, like this one will, but also the wide grip gives you more surface area and is more comfortable on your teeth. Spreads the weight out a little bit more. Since then, I've been before I went to Berlin, I had been to Europe. I went to Dublin for the first time, and I bought, of course, a pipe while I was in when I was in Dublin. Made sure to go to the main storefront for Peterson's, and I got a Peterson's pipe. It's got a little what looks like it's Titanic on it, but I don't see. There are some markings on the back, but I do not see a model. Oh wait, it says port, so it's a Dublin shape from Dublin. Of course, good shape for, in my opinion, good shape for flakes. I love my flakes. I decided to make a new video while we're on the topic of Dublin, because I had recently watched several videos from Dublin and Dam. I guess he's stopped making videos, stopped making them a long time ago, as far as YouTube is concerned. I'm also drinking some Yingling's Oktoberfest. Pretty solid Oktoberfest. And so I just went back out of nostalgia to go watch some of his videos. Still, I learned something from him after 5 years of watching him, rewatching and rewatching these old videos of him talking about tobacco and talking about how to care for your pipe. And it's very thorough. So I definitely recommend going over and checking out Dublin and Dam at some point. The other thing is this beauty. It's a pipe jar that my uncle got me. I didn't recognize it was the pipe jar when he got it. I thought it was just a cool looking cookie jar. It's got a castle and a guy trying to figure out what his next move is going to be. And it's got two holes with which to hold your pipe. Pretty cool. And of course, I have some Original Choice by McBaron's. I mentioned McBaron a lot, and you would think that I'm a huge McBaron fan, and I really do like them, but they're not my favorite tobacco company. They do have my favorite blend, which is Vanilla Flake. And yes, it's sort of marketed as the same tobacco as just their vanilla cream blend, which it may be, and it does smell the same, but it does not taste the same. And in fact, I think in my opinion, the Vanilla Flake is, in terms of flavor, and enjoyment of the blend, it's far superior than the normal shag cut, not shag cut, but normal ribbon cut blend of tobacco. Original Choice is also a very good, solid tobacco from Mac Baren. Really, really good aromatic. But if you want a flake that is not just English tobacco, that doesn't hit very hard, you want something light smoking, something that's going to smell good, but you still want a flake, definitely go, in my opinion, with Vanilla Flake. It's really good tobacco. If you're wondering why I keep relighting, one is because I'm running my mouth, and the other is because this tobacco is very wet. Of the tobaccos that I stored, I made the decision to get something heavy and compress the tobacco when I jarred it. And it kept it very wet. It was very wet when I stored it, and I was managed effectively to stay the same way. So I think the next time I store tobacco that way, if I'm not actually jarring it to cellar, just jarring it to have something to put it in other than an ugly pipe tin, I may do that. I made the decision to buy some filter pipes when I was in Berlin, and I got some Valen Dr. Pearl Jr. stem filter pipes that accept these filters. And very nice. I prefer them a little bit to the balsa wood filters that you get with, I think it's 6mm pipes. But this is what they look like. They're little pieces of paper, and they have activated carbon in them. This is the part that goes towards the shank, where your tobacco is, and this is towards the stem, where your mouth is. Like that. Here's one after it's been smoked, or after it's been used as a filter. This is the other filter pipe I got, so these are the two that I bought. This is an Adsorbo. Really, really good pipe. My fiance bought it for me when she visited me in Berlin. So, if you ever find one of these pipes, I highly recommend it. Of course, the health benefits of using a filter, I mean, who knows whether or not that really helps, but, if you smoke a lot, it might make some difference. But two recommendations. The other thing is that they do change the taste of your smoke. They change the character of it. They lighten it up a little bit. Especially with aromatics that can be particularly harsh, or seem to be, I find when I smoke a tobacco, one particular tobacco too much, it tends to just taste bad. And so sometimes I will, once it starts to get that way, I will switch to another pipe with a filter in it, or put a filter in my pipe. And then it will change the character a little bit. I couldn't tell you exactly how it does it, but it cools it off a bit. So you can puff away at your pipe and it probably won't burn you. So if you smoke a lot of aromatics, I definitely recommend it. It might reduce a little bit of the bite. It does for me. It reduces a lot of the bite. And you can smoke a little bit more aggressively. And not have to worry about it biting too much. The other thing is, if you get one of these pipes, if you get one of these pipes, let the filter dry out completely. I'm looking out the window. Someone out there. If you get one of these pipes, let the filter dry out completely before removing it. Because you will find that if you remove it, or try to remove it while it's still wet, it will fall apart. It's basically, I mean, it is paper. And paper does not like being wet and put under stress. So when you try and fish it out, it will fall apart. You'll have all these little activated carbon pellets laying everywhere and making a mess. And you'll find that it's not very fun to clean it up. So, definitely let it dry out more than you normally would. I typically just wait for my pipe to cool off before I try and clean it. But with these, I wait at least a day, 24 hours before I try and remove it and clean it. So these have a lot longer. The downside to these is that you have to sort of adjust their rotation a little bit more. Be mindful more of their rotation if you smoke very frequently. I was an everyday smoker when I was in Berlin, and so I would try to rotate my pipes. Smoke this one one day, this one day, and give both of them a rest, and smoke this one day. And of course, I would put this one in my rotation as well, but of course it broke. So I was reduced to 3 pipes. Life's tough, But yes, it was a really cool school. I learned a lot. It is a challenging course because they are trying to make you brewmasters or something resembling thereof in 6 months. So it is very intense. Our biology course was a total of 9 hours, and we learned more in our biochemistry course, I should say. I learned more in my biochemistry course in 9 hours than I learned in my entire college career. Granted, I took a liberal arts course, or liberal arts degree, when I was in college. But yes, a lot has happened. I graduated 2 schools since I last made a video. I've gotten engaged, moved to a different town, gotten a job, and now I'm about to move to a different state. Across the country, moving up to upstate New York. And so life is pretty good at the moment. It's just stressful because I'm having to deal with a move and I've never done this before. But through all the change in my life, there is one thing that will not change. Or at least I don't foresee it changing. And that is pipe smoking. I can rely on it to stay about the same. But anyways, video's gone on long enough. Best wishes, and keep smoking.